Hey guys, Scripture here with another video, and I'm kind of disappointed in this latest info we got. I guess, I'm not talking about the trailer. Everyone's like, oh, the trailer's supposed to come out on Friday because one of the actors tweeted it or something. Whatever, it'll come out when it comes out. It should have came out 3 months ago, but whatever. So these are some images from D3 or Disney 23. And though we're expecting more during Friday's Disney Entertainment Showcase, we thought you might want to check out some of what's on display during D23 Fan Expo event in support of Disney and Lucasfilm's Jude Law starring Skeleton Crew, stemming from John Watts and Chris Ford, with Watts, Ford, Favreau, and Filoni executive producing. So I will say, despite Mandalorian Season 3, I mean, Favreau is he still isn't super great, but he's about as close to keeping things on the level as you're going to find. I still personally believe that he was heavily influenced by others and or kind of pushed to do some of the things he did in Mando Season 3, because it was such a deviation from the first two seasons. And then they shoehorned him into the Boba Fett show, The Mandalorian, with Luke and stuff. So I feel like he's still got it, but the problem is he's one guy out of all these other people. And I could be wrong. He could be playing ball and doing the same stupid stuff that Filoni's into and all these guys are anyway. So who knows? That's just my thoughts. The series is set to hit streaming screens on the 3rd of December, but we're expecting to learn a whole lot more than that beginning at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Maybe like a teaser. So the teaser's not going to be out for another 2 hours or so. Okay, whatever. It's my bad. I'll do a video about that too, obviously, but this is interesting, though, you guys. This is funny. Some surprise casting news. Stay tuned. Viewers can expect to see Ravi, Cabot, Conyers. Yeah, whatever. Okay, so they did this little setup at the Skeleton Crew. Now, what do you notice? I'm just going to say a couple things here, just real quick. So, first off, Wolfman. Like, Are we going to elevate this dude into a dude now? Like an actual character doing something? Interesting. I'm not for or against it. I just don't trust that whatever they do. The thing that made the Wolfman cool in the originals was that it was the Wolfman, but not the Wolfman. And it was he was just like off in the corner, and it was it was just a fun, neat thing. I'm not sure doing a whole thing with his species is necessarily the right thing to do. It's a little, it's nostalgia bait. It's not necessarily bad nostalgia bait, but I don't know. I kind of liked him just being like this funny thing that Lucas threw in because of the Wolfman and, the Wolfman movie and Teen Wolf. That was always what it was to me. I don't know. Whatever, fine, do what you're going to do. But I guess this is the old droid. The old grumpy old man droid. I kind of like his look. Is there a bigger picture of him? Negative. I kind of like his look. He could be a really cool character. The grumpy old man mixed in with the kids on an adventure. That's a very, sort of classic trope. And I don't mind it. But this is what the video is about. Why, Johnny? Come on. Don't remind us of these stupid pirates. They were the worst. Their whole story arc was stupid. They were lame. Actually, you know what? Take a look at a couple things from my reviews of Mandalorian Season 3 about these pirates from whatever it is, a couple years ago. But of course, while he's there's some pirates show up. And this is literally how they created conflict in this episode with these pirates for a later scene. This is so lame. Okay, so they show up demanding booze from a bar that has been converted into a school. So the teacher lady won't let them in, and they're mad. Like, these are pirates, so if they really wanted to go in, they could just walk in. I don't know why they're letting this lady stop them. But they're mad because they want a beer in the school, and you're like, what? Like, just go to a bar. Who cares? Just go to a different bar. And so Carl Weathers shows up, and he's like, bro, there's no booze in there, man. It's a school now. And the pirates are like, we don't care. Give us booze in the school. It's like, that's your conflict? You couldn't think of anything else, Dave? You couldn't think of anything else, you guys, to have a reason for these pirates to get mad and to have conflict? There has to be some. You couldn't just bring up something that happened in the past between Carl and those guys that made them mad or something.
I mean, I guess they do kind of bring up something about he did something to them, but the main idea behind it is that they want booze and he's refusing to let them go into a school to drink. And you're like, dude, this is so dumb. Just go to the bar down the road. It doesn't make any sense. Sorry. And yeah, I'm not joking. That's the scene. And Carl's like, bro, come with me and we can drink. I'll give you some free stuff, man. Come with me to my place, man. We'll drink, bro. It's all good. And they're like, no, we have to drink at the school. and the pirate literally pulls a gun over wanting to drink a beer in a school. Like, why does he care that much about this? And honestly, I couldn't. This is where I was just laughing so hard. Like, it's so bad. Anyway, like, it really terrible. And of course, the pirates that wanted a beer, the guy that wanted a beer at the school, he shows up and he's like, yeah, you never gave me my beer and you killed my men because we pulled guns on you for not giving me beers at school. And they have it out with Mando and whatever. He's flying around and there's pirate ships and blah, 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 blah. And they end up, the guy leads Mando to the main pirate ship. And then you're kind of like, oh, okay, now there's something big's going to happen now. He might get pulled into this big ship. He's going to get blasted on. Ooh, this is kind of sort of interesting now. And then we see the main pirate guy. He looks like the Swamp Thing. And then Swamp Thing demands Mando's ship. And they're like, oh no, what's Mando going to do? He's demanding his ship because he blew up 4 of his ships or whatever. And he killed those guys and he's mad at them. And then Mando just flies away. That's the scene. He just flies away. That's what happened. So what was the point of this scene? What was the point of any of this? What was the point of the beer pirates? Like, what is going on? Beer pirates and nothing. And I'm sure later on in the season, they'll show up again. And then for some reason you won't be able to fly away then because they'll finally make it interesting.
So, I mean, I don't know. Like, it's like we're mixing in something over here that might be super cool. Something over here that is very nostalgic and might be cool with this guy. Okay, whatever. These aliens are around. Why did you throw the pirates in the mix? Everything you guys have done outside of the first 2 seasons of Mando and some of Andor need to just fade away into existence. Don't keep bringing them up. Let these guys leave. All it's going to remind us of is one of the worst written shows. It was so bad with these pirates. So here's a few things. For Favreau, it's all about establishing different tones for each series. One of the things we really liked about what the shows that we've been working on have turned into is that the tone of each episode, and in certain cases each series, really reflects the storyteller or the filmmaker, which is ridiculous. That's the mistake they made. Remember, Leslie Headland got to do her own show. They're all doing their own thing. It's all about, reflecting the storyteller. The storyteller is ultimately George Lucas. Right? So, really what you're doing is you're just muddying the waters with all these different people having all these different projects, and they're all putting their own little spin on everything. No, what you need to be doing is thinking about what George would want and what fans would want. That's it. That's exclusive to that. Nothing more. That's part of the stupid strategy you guys have made that is making Star Wars suck. So in The Mandalorian, you could have many different tones. Even though the writing is consistent across them, different filmmakers will bring different perspectives, and so each episode hopefully feels different, though they should fit alongside one another. Again, I disagree with that. I don't agree with that. With Skeleton Crew, I would go even further because it's Watson, Ford, and a whole array of wonderful directors. Some have worked with us before and some who haven't, and so each episode has its own feel to it. Again, mistake. Why is it that Star Wars is this IP that's like, Kathleen Kennedy decided it's like, every one of my friends is going to get in on it. Everybody that I have gets to be part of it. No, pick a director to do a show. Pick a director to do a show. Keep it consistent. Stop flailing around with all these people that have no business being in Star Wars. Book of Boba Fett was horrible. I know nothing against Deborah Chow, but come on. We need to just say, this person's qualified, this person has a good background, this person knows what they're doing. Give them this show. And stop having 50 different directors. So essentially what this tells me, based on the producer stuff, because they have 7 producers for every show, is that Dave Filoni and unfortunately Jon Favreau and these other guys are really just there to monitor all these different directors who can only do one episode, right? So what I think is really happening here with Disney Star Wars is the company, Bob Iger, the executives, have hired guys like Filoni and Favreau and these other guys, these other producers, to Watson Ford to be there on behalf of the company to monitor what the directors are doing and to make sure the directors stay in line and do the shows the way they want them. Instead of saying to a director, hey, direct this. No, we've got to have 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 producers hovering over them with their, tentacles, making sure that they keep to the tone. They call them, it's the message, but they call it the tone. And to make sure that the executives are in full control of what's being put out. Which is hilarious when you consider how garbage these people are creatively. They're garbage. Like, they're not creatives. But then they have the next level down, the Favreaus and the Filonis, duping fans into thinking, oh, they're doing creative stuff, really creative, when really all those guys are doing is the bidding of these executives that literally are talentless when it comes to creative and filmmaking and stuff like that. It's a total disaster. So it does not bode well for me hearing this about Skeleton Crew. Anyways, each episode has its own feel. I don't want the episodes to have their own feel. I want them to make sense. I want them to be good. I want them to be coherent. And I want the story to flow properly. Or I don't. And if you don't, I'll tear it apart. Like I do with all these shows because they're so bad. Favreau and what Skeleton Crew needed to feel like Star Wars means to him. When people think of Star Wars as a genre, it really is a number of subgenres within the Star Wars genre because those were George Lucas's influences. So it could feel like a Western, it could feel like a World War II film, it could feel like a samurai film, and you could push those limits. No. In the movies, they feel like all those things. But if you look at the shows, they're picking one thing and making it feel like that. So The Acolyte is probably, I would say, more like a samurai film. There's not a Western feel to it at all. There's definitely not a World War II feel to it at all. Right? Then you take Book of Boba Fett. It does have a Western feel, even though it's super corny. But it just has a Western film. It doesn't feel at all World War II. It doesn't feel at all samurai. That's part of the problem here, guys, is you don't know how to merge those things together to make it cool. That's what made it cool. It's like all those 3 things, plus the 4th, which is the most important, which is the family drama in the movies, right? The characters you really care about, the family drama, all lumped in together with a sci-fi space skin. That takes some intelligence, and I've done videos in the past of George Lucas's background with his education. He's not just an arts guy. He's studied history and literature and all type anthropology. So, yes, as he got older and he became more of a businessman, he lost some of that luster, and you see that with the prequels, and you definitely see that with the Clone Wars. But initially, those were the things that were the driving forces. All those things combined, not one or the other. So everything they're doing is just one of those 15 different things. Favreau, Dave Filoni's The Clone Wars is a perfect example. Especially on The Clone Wars, they deviated into many different genres, to thrillers and to noir and different types of adventures and different tones. So that's what's keeping us engaged and why I'm continuing my collaboration here. Is because it's never like you're just doing one thing. There's always room. Now, I've always said, I think the Clone Wars are generally problematic. Yes, there's some cool episodes. Obviously, there's some good stuff in there. But generally speaking, there's too much there. They deviate too much on the lore. And you see this now with Disney Star Wars live action, where the Clone Wars is like their example. I actually personally think the Clone Wars in a lot of ways took away from Anakin. I think he's too different in it. It doesn't feel right. That's my opinion. I know a lot of people like it. And again, I'm not saying it was all bad. But there was definitely stuff in there that should not have been in there. There were stories that didn't need to be told. There was a whole pile of filler, and Filoni's the filler king or queen. I don't know. But he is. While Skeleton Crew and The Mandalorian are different, Favreau sees them similar in one key way. As long as you adhere to a certain aesthetic, and we all agree that it feels like it's Star Wars, there's a lot of room for how you can move around. He's basically just saying, like, make it look like Star Wars and then do one of those different genres. That's not that deep, dude. Dave. John, I'm so disappointed, man. Rudy, bro. Rudy, dude. Rudy. Where's my John? This is interesting, too, as you see it at Star Wars Celebration panel and these great trailers, how different they all are, but they all sit together. And he would never group them together, but thanks to the world that George created, they all feel like they share the same underlying aesthetic. So they have an aesthetic. They don't feel like the same universe at all. Look at Andor. Most people would argue it's the best Disney Plus show. In fact, few would deny that. But it is not Star Wars-y at all. It's not funny. It's not like, going here and there and action-packed and this and that. It's very drawn out. It's very sort of Game of Thrones-y, long, drawn-out, dialogue scenes with not much else going on, right? There's lots of dialogue in the original films, but there's things going on related to the dialogue between the main characters, right? Action sequences and different things going on at the same time. You don't get a lot of that with Andor. You get a lot of talking when there's nothing else going on, like a drama show. That doesn't jive at all with The Mandalorian, especially the first 2 seasons where the drama and the dialogue is, again, taking place within a lot of it, within these action sequences and things of that nature. So, no, this is one of the problems. They can aesthetically look like they belong. They can have the visual tone, but that's the easy part because that's been established. The aesthetic was established by George. It's everything else you're missing, John and Dave and everybody else involved. That's the stuff you're missing is the meat. You're great. You put some gravy on top of a rotted out garbage zombie steak from Minecraft. That's basically what you did. Oh, man. And now we're going to get, look, but they got the aesthetic. They got the aesthetic with the Wolfman and the stupid pirates, except they forget that these pirates were horrible and everybody hated them and we don't want to see them ever again. So that's my rant, guys. Disappointed. The trailer should be coming out soon. I'll have a video on it, as quick as I can. I am a fairly busy guy. I should actually do, let me know in the comment section if you want me to do a video showing you kind of like my garden and my chickens and different things. I'm not like just like this guy who sits in front of his computer with a neck beard. I actually have a family and a life and property I maintain and blah, 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 blah. So, anyways, let me know in the comment section what you think. Are you disappointed with the pirates? Are you disappointed with sort of the stratagem and what John is saying they're doing and as it relates to what you're seeing on screen? Or are you like, you know what, dude, I don't mind what he's saying and this works and I like the pirates? Or is it somewhere in between? Are you excited for Skeleton Crew? Let me know in the comment section. As always, if you like this content, please like, subscribe. Always helps the channel. Feel free to check out anything else on my channel. And have yourselves a really good day.